Right now at 6, a new Oklahoma law set to toughen sentencing for accessory to murder, what it means for future cases.
And we have a risk for storms today, but widespread rain through this morning. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, a local mother speaks out after the sentencing of 2 people connected to her son's death. We'll see how she's fighting to prevent other families from experiencing the same heartbreak.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
Yes, and it's Wednesday, May 7th, halfway through this week, almost, just trucking through May.
We really
I can't
are.
believe it every single time I say it.
Yeah, 5 months into 2025.
Yeah.
7 days into May. We are really flying by, and spring severe weather season is almost over. We've got 1 more month. However, this week,
not too bad.
Not too
Some
bad.
Drizzles on my way here.
Yes,
but
a little bit
nothing
of drizzle.
crazy. Yeah.
And I'd take that over heavy rain or thunderstorms in the morning.
Wouldn't?
We
Yeah.
do have thunderstorms moving in later today, so let's go ahead and take a look outside. We've got a low risk for severe weather, mostly staying south of I-44 today. That's going to be later on this evening. Until then, we are still seeing scattered showers and scattered thunderstorms. Though, as Elise said, it is mostly just a light drizzle, sprinkles through the morning hours. You can see out in Joplin on Rangeline, a little bit of wet roads there, but not a big disruption to your morning commute. A little annoying, but not too bad. Now, temperatures are in the upper 50s. Not too windy. We are seeing winds gusting up to about 20-25 miles per hour at times. And then we're seeing storms rotating back into the area mid-morning, though through the next couple of hours. We're seeing a few of these light drizzle sprinkles. It's continuing to lift further north. So now it's north of Pittsburgh, out near Iola, Chanute, Lamar, and Greenfield. Those storms are going to start to push in, though, by about 8-9 a.m. So this is 6 pushing through. By 7:38, some thunderstorms start to develop out towards the west. Isolated storms popping up by about 10 a.m. That's Oswego, Columbus, strong storms there. And then out heading into Independence as well. Some stronger storms, not a severe threat. That's going to continue to lift north by early afternoon, so about noon to 1 p.m. Heavy rainfall in those northern counties, probably some thunderstorms too, but again, not a severe threat. That sits up in the north, that just strip of heavy rainfall, thunderstorms. And then we start to see a couple of pop-up isolated showers and thunderstorms in our central and southern counties. That's going to be through the mid-afternoon to early evening hours. And then by about 7 p.m., all of that starts to push out of the area. Still a couple of these isolated showers, and then our severe threat finally hits. That's going to, again, stay south of I-44. You can see out near Bella Vista. A strong isolated storm starts to push in from the south. It clears out very quickly, and then we're looking good. But through the morning hours, remember, by about 9-10 a.m., starting to see some of those isolated showers and thunderstorms popping up, but I'm going to have a full forecast coming up.
All right, we'll see you soon, Lindsay. Thanks. Well, a semi-truck overturns at the downstream roundabout yesterday afternoon. Joplin Fire and police, along with Newton County Ambulance and Reddings Mill Fire, responded to the call around 4:30 p.m. The semi-truck hauling 40,000 pounds of dog food struck the roundabout with the left wheels going into about 1/4 of the landscaping, then overturned to the right. Traffic headed south was diverted to the road behind the Q store till about 8:45. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signs Laura and Ashley's law, strengthening sentencing requirements for certain crimes in the Sooner State. Beginning November 1st, crimes of accessory to murder in the first degree and accessory to murder in the second degree will be added to the list of felony offenses requiring criminals to serve at least 85% of their sentence. The law is named after 2 girls, Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman, who went missing in December of 1999. Ashley's parents were found murdered in their burned home. Now, decades later, the cold case finally centered on 3 suspects, but 2 of them had already died. The third suspect, Ronnie Busick, eventually agreed to a plea deal in 2020, pleading guilty to accessory to murder, kidnapping, and arson. However, in 2023, Busick was released early from prison due to good behavior. Going forward, Laura and Ashley's law ensures those who aid in such heinous crimes face stricter consequences, something Laura's mother, Lorraine, pushed for years. Well, a sentencing in southeast Kansas comes as drug overdose rates are on the rise in the Sunflower State. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke to the mother of an overdose victim who says awareness is an important part of prevention.
According to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, more than 700 people lost their lives to a drug overdose in 2022, with more than 67% of those deaths attributed to opioids such as fentanyl. This week, 2 people were sentenced for their roles distributing fentanyl, which resulted in the death of a Frontenac teen.
This is ending in the criminal part of this. I feel like another little piece of him is gone. You know, like this has not really kept him alive in my heart, but it's kept it real, and I don't want people to forget him.
Cooper Campiti was 18 years old when he died as a result of a fentanyl overdose in April 2023. Cooper's family continues sharing their story about the dangers of the opioid, speaking at schools and town halls across the 4 states.
And share Cooper's story, and a lot of the feedback that we hear is they had no idea about fentanyl and about how it gets into the drugs.
She says the prosecution of fentanyl cases like the one involving Cooper is important, but she adds awareness is what's needed to help prevent more tragedies like this in Crawford County.
What you're getting yourself into when you take something from the street that's not coming from a prescribed pill jar from a pharmacy and from your doctor. It can be in anything. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Cooper took half a pill.
Those struggling are encouraged to ask for help. You can seek help at the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration helpline by calling the number on your screen. Reporting in Crawford County, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Now, the Crawford County attorney indicated in a release that fentanyl cases are increasing in the county. They say their office will continue to prosecute these cases in an effort to combat the distribution of the opioid in the county. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The conclave begins today as cardinals gather to choose the next pope. And rain chances return. We'll have what to expect with Lindsay Gaffney in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch today, the conclave gets underway to choose the next pope to lead the world's 1.4 billion Catholics. It comes less than 3 weeks after the death of Pope Francis. And a new CBS News poll shows 76% of U.S. Catholics approve of the direction Pope Francis took the church, and many Americans are hopeful that the new pontiff will carry out his legacy. Tina Kraus has more from the Vatican.
Sunrise at St. Peter's Square, ushering in the dawn of the conclave to choose the new pope.
The tone is very calm, very quiet, very fraternal.
The 133 cardinals who will make that decision gathered at the Vatican this week. They'll be sequestered, cell phone service cut until the conclave ends. In this room in the Sistine Chapel, the so-called princes of the church will cast their ballots until they reach a 2/3 consensus. Papal robes in 3 sizes hang in the nearby crying room, where the new pontiff will face the feelings and the magnitude of the mission. Outside, a temporary chimney is in place where crowds will eagerly watch for signals. Black smoke meaning no pope has been chosen, or white smoke indicating a new pope has been elected.
We're going to be looking way over there for the smoke.
These college students from Maine say they plan to have a front row seat.
I'm not religious at all, but I would say that it's still quite a historic moment.
Ahead of the conclave, several cardinals have said they believe the field is wide open as to who the next pope will be. The vast majority of them were appointed by Pope Francis. That's a key detail, as a new CBS News poll shows 42% of U.S. Catholics hope the next pontiff will carry out Pope Francis's teachings. 37% prefer someone more conservative, while 21% want someone more progressive. New York Archbishop Timothy Dolan has his own ideal for the next pontiff.
I hope there's a pope that is like Jesus.
Big shoes to fill as anticipation builds. Tina Kraus, CBS News, the Vatican.
Well, Pope Francis was elected after 2 days of ballots. The shortest conclave took just 10 hours back in the 1500s. The longest conclave was in 1289, lasting 2 years and 9 months. Well, still to come, flu deaths in children hit a 15-year high. We'll learn why fewer children are getting vaccinated. Plus, Lindsay Gaffney returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. We'll be right back. Well, a Texas man's friendly wave led to a full-on parade over the weekend. Donnie Tuggle introduces us to Wayne Banks, a U.S. Army veteran who loves sitting outside of his retirement home and waving at passerbys. Well, a pair of caught on camera sudden stops on some busy roadways both led to some shocking scenes for the motorists involved. Now, one was a questionable decision. The other was for good reason. Jeremy Roth has both in today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at the calamitous car chaos that unfolded after a driver suddenly stopped in the middle of a busy highway. Ohio Department of Transportation officials shared video on social media of this incident captured on Interstate 71 near Columbus, where a driver, seemingly missing their intended exit, comes to a full stop in the middle of a free-flowing interstate. The stop almost immediately caused a chain reaction of stops and led to a shocking crash, piling up several cars behind the red van, which then appears to take off like nothing happened. Thankfully, no life-threatening injuries were reported, and ODOT shared the cautionary traffic tale, saying, "Do not be this driver." Other commenters were more direct, underscoring why stopping in a busy roadway can be so dangerous. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, and I think this driver in Iowa found one. Video shows them stopping in a busy intersection, but for good reason. Smoke is seen billowing from under the hood of the car, signaling to the driver it's probably a good idea to get out. Mere minutes later, the car becomes engulfed in flames. Cedar Rapids firefighters were quick to respond and tackle the blaze, which they said delayed traffic in the area for roughly an hour. So, today's lesson is, missed your exit, keep calm, and carry on to the next one. Car engines smoking, go ahead and stop here and hope the fire department is near. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, thank goodness the driver was able to get out safely. Let's head over now to Lindsay for a quick look at your forecast.
We've got a little bit of these showers and mist moving through our northern counties now, but we're watching some of these thunderstorms you can see out near Wichita just to the west. That low is going to start to push in by mid-morning, and then later on this evening, bringing us a marginal risk for severe weather, mainly south of I-44, but I'm going to have a full look at your forecast coming up. Well, we are going to see a couple of these thunderstorms continuing. Now you can see that low pressure system moving just a little bit further out towards the east. It's going to bring us a few thunderstorms later on this morning, but right now we're just seeing a couple of these misty showers moving now north of Pittsburgh, near Nevada, north of Chanute. Not a big disruption to the morning commute. We're going to have that again tomorrow morning as well. So just these misty, gross mornings start to our days. But like I said, so we're going to see, you can see a little bit of that front starting to push through. So we're seeing some of these storms rotating back in as that low pressure system pulls a few thunderstorms into the area. Not severe, but it is going to give us a longer rainy day. So storms start to pop up by mid-morning, about 9-10 a.m. They dissipate a little bit more, but all those storms lift further north, and we're going to have these heavy rain showers through the early afternoon hours into mid-afternoon. Now, you can see this is about 10 a.m. These are the isolated storms I'm talking about that are going to be pushing in from the west. Out near Columbus, Oswego, a little strong storm moving into Independence, another one, and maybe some isolated showers. Now, these are not severe, but they are going to bring some strong potential there, a little loud, and then a heavy rainfall through early afternoon until early evening, and that's going to be in those northern counties. By mid-afternoon, though, a couple of these more isolated showers popping up central and southern counties, so we all still could see a chance of rain through the rest of the day, but the only potential for rain accumulation, really a lot of rain accumulation, is going to be those northern counties, and again, that's through mid to late afternoon. Now, by this evening, getting into the later evening hours, it all starts to slowly dissipate. We are still going to see a couple of these isolated showers, isolated storms, and then our low risk for severe weather is later on this evening. And you can see down near Bella Vista that isolated storm starts to push in. Now, main threat with that is going to be a strong gust front and maybe a slight potential for some small hail. That clears out very quickly, and then as we head into Thursday morning, again, starting the morning off with this light mist, these light isolated showers through your morning hours. By about noon, maybe some heavier rain, isolated rain showers, again, along and south of I-44. Those continue to push out of there by mid-afternoon, and then by the evening, back to clear skies. Now taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, currently no rain going on in Pittsburgh, so it's a great time to get out the door, get to where you need to be before all that heavy rain starts to push in by, again, 9 to 10 a.m. And like I said, rain accumulation total, that's going to be through Thursday as well. Heaviest rainfall in those northern counties, about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain. And then these isolated chances are going to bring another 1/10 of an inch in some spots, central and southern counties. So not a ton of rain. We've seen a big threat for flooding in the past with all of our severe weather events, but this is not going to be as bad. And we've got that heavier rain chances on Wednesday, isolated showers Thursday. It all clears out by Thursday evening. So Friday, clouds start to clear. Temperatures reach again upper 60s, low 70s, 70s for the weekend, sunny skies. And then by next week, isolated pop-up storms are normally what we see in the summertime, and these 80-degree temperatures. So it's going to be beautiful this weekend and next week. We just have to get through a couple more rainy days. But that's a look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, looks great, Lindsay. Thanks. Well, it's a leading cause of disability in the U.S. Low back pain is common, and it's estimated that up to 80% of people will experience it at some point in their lives. Mandy Gaither has ways to help prevent this type of pain and what you can do to get some relief.
Prevention is key, and the way we do it is activity. When patients say, well, I walk every day, I do other activities, it's not enough. You have to focus on doing specific exercises that strengthen those core muscles in your back. It could be the muscle, it could be the joints, it could be the ligaments, nerves, or even the central canal where the spinal cord and the nerves are. Education in terms of the treatments that you're getting and the condition you have is super important, and taking the time to read and having access to the appropriate resources is important.
Well, Dr. Kapoor says certain conditions may also put stress onto your low back, including being overweight or having an abnormal weight distribution. Sitting for prolonged periods of time can also cause problems, so he suggests taking breaks and standing up, walking, or stretching some during the workday. And child flu deaths in the U.S. are at their highest level in 15 years. The CDC reported 116 children have died during the flu season, the most since the 2009-2010 swine flu pandemic. Doctors say the biggest factor is that fewer children are getting flu shots, with vaccination levels dropping from 64% 5 years ago to 49% this season. A salmonella outbreak has sickened at least 7 people across 6 states. The CDC says the outbreak is linked to backyard poultry and has spread to Missouri, Florida, Illinois, South Dakota, Utah, and Wisconsin. Health officials warn that even healthy-looking chickens can potentially carry the salmonella bacteria. And babies under the age of 1 who receive targeted coaching from their parents have greatly improved communication and cognitive development. A study by the Kennedy Krieger Institute and caregivers talk with infants as they played, narrating what they were doing and giving them verbal support and engagement. Now, those babies developed better social skills and improved nonverbal learning. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Well, right now at 5:30, the community of Quapaw turns out for a day of recognition for missing or murdered Indigenous people.
And we have a couple more days of rainfall before we see a sunny weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, drivers on K7 might find their trips delayed due to a road improvement project.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
It's Wednesday morning. Light showers today on my way in, which was, better than, just a big downpour of what we've been experiencing some mornings, for sure.
Especially, like a 20-30 minute commute, which I know a lot of people have to do heading into the Joplin area. It's way better to start off with a little drizzle versus some thunderstorms.
Still have to be careful, though.
And there are going to be thunderstorms moving in later on today, so we're not quite out of the woods yet. Let's go ahead and take a look outside. We've got a low risk for severe weather south of I-44 today, mostly south of I-44. And then tomorrow, more scattered shower chances, though no threat for severe weather. So we do have a good couple of days, although rainy. It's not as bad as it could be. Now, taking a look outside downtown Joplin, roads are maybe still a little slick. However, most of the drizzle and light showers are up to the north. And then we're sticking in the upper 50s with cloudy skies for the next hour to 2 hours before we're going to start seeing more rain moving in. Now, we've got our low pressure system out towards central southern parts of Kansas and even central northern and northwestern parts of Oklahoma. That's going to start to make an appearance later on this morning. Right now, we're looking good. We're in a bit of a lull before we start to see those thunderstorm chances actually pushing through. So taking a look, in the next hour, a few thunderstorms are going to start to pop up, continue to move into our central counties. There, you can see out near Columbus, Oswego, isolated thunderstorms may pop up. Could be loud, could be bright, a lot of lightning going on there. And then also out near Independence. But all of this is going to shift further north. Widespread heavy rainfall. Again, maybe some rumbles of thunder. But none of this is going to be a part of our severe weather threat for the day. That's not coming in until later on this evening. But our main chance for heavy rain accumulation is going to be for those northern counties and through mid-morning to mid-afternoon. We're also going to have isolated chances of rain showers and thunderstorms through our central and southern counties through the afternoon hours as well, though not really dropping as much rainfall as some of those northern counties could see. Then heading into this evening, this is where we see that low risk for severe weather, mainly staying south of I-44. You can see out in the west, a few showers still sticking around, but down near Bella Vista, Benton County area, then we're going to see an isolated storm pushing in, moving out quickly to the east, so it's not going to be in our area for long. Main threats include strong gust front and even some light hail. So we're going to expect to see that moving in later on this evening around 9 to 10 p.m. Though you can see currently we're looking good. Perfect time to get out the door if you need to. Temperatures upper 50s, low 60s, but that rain is coming pretty quickly. I'm going to have a full forecast coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, Quapaw community members participated in a walk for families of missing or murdered Indigenous persons. The gathering aimed to honor victims and give grieving families a chance to share their stories in hopes of finding healing and answers about missing loved ones.
This is our way of letting their spirits, we believe their spirits are out somewhere. We're all connected. through here, he's seen to it that we're connected this way.
They have to have that closure. Don't give up on working those cases, finding leads, because it is horrible to have a family member that's been missing for years and you just don't know whether they're still alive or they're not.
Victims of a lost loved one say they appreciate the support of the community. And road work is underway along K7 south of Girard to US 400, causing minor delays for drivers. The project includes a mill and overlay to repair damaged sections and extend the life of the highway. Flaggers and a pilot car are guiding one-lane traffic through the zone with expected delays under 15 minutes.
They look at surface conditions. These were really before a lot of the potholes appeared, but they took core samples and then they realized that there was a weak layer. Normally you'd mill 1.5 inches out, but there was a weak layer that they needed to go a 3-inch mill to get to sound surface.
KDOT expects the $5.5 million project to be complete by mid-June, weather permitting, of course. Well, Goodman city officials met last night to consider a replacement for the open South Ward alderman seat, a position left unfilled after the April election. Voters picked Clay Sexton for the job, but he was also elected mayor and chose that position instead. Now, we're told none of Sexton's nominees chose to fill the role last night. So as it stands, the position is still unfilled.
You kind of want to have all 4 seats done. That way, if there's ends up being ties, the mayor can then break ties. But it will stay vacant until we can find someone that the council will support to go into that position. And with us only having 3 people, it can sometimes, take a few tries.
Now, during the meeting, the mayor named Barry Ruddick as potential nominee, but city officials never seconded it. And the city of Joplin hosts a recycling education and outreach open house at the Joplin Public Library. The event invites residents to share feedback on obstacles to recycling as well as ideas to improve community education.
We take cardboard, brown packing paper, they go together, papers, notebooks, phone books. We take e-waste, all your electronics, TVs, about anything with a cord we'll take. Paperboard, like your cereal boxes and things like that, and glass, which is 100% recyclable.
Well, city officials say the input will help shape a plan to boost recycling awareness across the region. The goal is to identify challenges and enhance outreach efforts for the future. Now to look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Thousands of Yellowstone baked beans are being recalled due to undeclared soy. Plus, U.S. and China trade talks are set to begin. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch this morning, Mother's Day is right around the corner, and industry analysts say the average person marking the day plans to spend more than $250 this year on gifts. Jen Sullivan has details on the most popular items to show mom just how much you love her.
Happy Mother's Day! When it comes to celebrating mom, consumers are shelling out.
Consumers spend on average for Mother's Day more than any other holiday except the winter holidays.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation says Mother's Day spending is expected to top $34 billion this year, with people celebrating spending an average of $259. That's around $5 more per person than last year.
They want to celebrate the moms and other mother figures in their lives.
According to the NRF's recent survey, the most popular gifts this year for mom: flowers, greeting cards, outings like brunch or dinner, clothing, and jewelry.
There are lots of ways consumers can save, and also ways that they can create a meaningful memory with mom through a gifted experience.
Other options that can help keep down the cost: a picnic, movie night at home, or a homemade craft.
The key is spending time together and something that's a little different for her.
Colin also says some retailers are rolling out sales ahead of Mother's Day to help shoppers save. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, more than 4,000 cases of Yellowstone baked beans are being recalled because they contain undeclared soy. Now, this could cause a severe or life-threatening reaction to people with soy allergies. According to a post by the Food and Drug Administration, the product was distributed in more than 20 states and has a best if used by date of February 17th, 2028. Consumers can return the product to the place of purchase for a full refund. And whether you're rushing in to meet today's big Real ID deadline or not, Krispy Kreme has a sweet treat for you. The chain is giving out one free original glazed donut to customers today only. No purchase necessary and no need to show ID.
My sense is that this will be about de-escalation, not about the big trade deal.
Top U.S. and Chinese officials are set to discuss tariffs in Switzerland this weekend. Authorities say Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer will be there.
We don't want to decouple. What we want is fair trade.
The Chinese Commerce Ministry confirms the talks. It says it's, quote, taking into full consideration global expectations, China's own interests, and the appeals of American businesses and consumers. It's unclear if the countries have negotiated much or anything already, given mixed messages like these.
They've reached out since the 145% tariffs.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Do you believe
a lot?
Do you believe
a lot all the time. We're talking.
These will be the highest level trade talks we've seen between the United States and China since those 145% tariffs went into place.
That's correct.
The meeting comes as the U.S.-China trade war causes concern for many U.S. investors.
Markets basically saying, show us the deals.
And for U.S. business owners.
There are 900,000 workers in Southern California connected to the supply chain, and there are 9 million across the United States.
Some supply chain experts also report less cargo is entering the U.S. They warn that could cause inventory shortages.
The cargo doesn't lie. You're seeing the price increases come through.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Lindsay with a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we've got rain chances continuing, isolated thunderstorms moving in around 9 to 10 a.m. Not a severe threat, and that continues to lift further north. So we're going to have widespread heavier rainfall in the northern counties. That's going to be north of Pittsburgh from about noon to 1 p.m. all the way until about 6 p.m. And then isolated thunderstorms returning for a couple of hours there in the evening, clearing out overnight.
Well, it's time to celebrate some Wednesday birthdays here in the 4 states, starting in Lamar with the happy first birthday to Ellie Dawn Rice. It says here, happy birthday, all of your family love you.
And we also have a father-son birthday today. Colin turning 6 and Brian Bell turning 35 out in Girard, Kansas. How awesome is that? Happy birthday, you guys.
Very special. And in Carthage, celebrating their 16th birthday today. Happy birthday to Riley Horton. It says here, happy birthday with love, Grandma Judy and Grandpa.
And then we have a big 21st birthday to Ashton Hensley out in Pittsburgh, Kansas. That's a milestone birthday, in fact.
And in Fort Scott, a happy 75th anniversary to Leo and Arla Hartman. Wonderful birthdays, very special milestone birthdays and anniversaries celebrating with us today. And if you would like to celebrate your birthday or your anniversary with us, you can do so by submitting it to birthdays@komnewsnow.com. Be sure to include all that wonderful information, including messages and photos. We sure love reading those messages. Please be sure to meet the deadline that you see at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration as well. Now let's head over to Lindsay for a full look at the forecast.
Well, we've got this low risk for severe weather, mainly staying south of us. We could get a little snippet of it there around and south of I-44. Though currently we're watching our low pressure system that's just to the west of us starting to push in a little bit more later on this morning. We've had a little bit of this mist just some light sprinkles through the morning hours. That's continuing to push further north. And then over the next couple of hours, going to start to see some of these thunderstorms popping up and moving into our area. Not a severe threat, but that will be a bit of a disruption if you plan on being out and about by about 9-10 a.m. Some of these storms mainly along Kansas and Oklahoma, but pushing into the Joplin area could be strong, but not severe. Now those continue to lift north. We're going to have heavy rainfall in the north and then rain continuing until early evening before we start to see a break before more showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Now, like I said, 10 a.m. little strong isolated storm there near Oswego, Columbus, another strong storm pushing into Independence. Now those are going to continue to lift north, and again, widespread heavy rainfall in the northern counties, mainly staying north of Pittsburgh, though Pittsburgh could get some heavy rain showers at points through mid to early afternoon. Those are going to continue. We're going to get some pop-up thunderstorms as well through mid-afternoon to early evening, mainly central and southern counties, but that heavy rain still staying consistent in the northern counties. As we head into late afternoon, early evening, starting to die down, mainly seeing just very isolated chances of showers, and then by about 9 to 10 p.m., we're going to start to see our risk for severe weather. Now this is our low risk. It's going to be coming in this evening. You can see an isolated storm moving into the Arkansas area, Benton County, Bella Vista, Bentonville. Those are main threat is going to be a strong gust front. Could be up to 50, 60 miles per hour. Nothing too crazy, but very strong. And then we're going to see a potential for small hail. Not a huge risk for severe weather, but that's going to be in the Bentonville area. Now, as we head into Thursday morning, about 7 to 8 a.m., same as we saw this morning, those light showers, light mist through the morning commute hours, and then heavier rain showers popping up, again, very isolated by about noon. Now this continues through mid-afternoon before all the clouds and everything starts to clear out late afternoon and early evening. So overnight Thursday and into Friday, starting to see clear skies return. Until then, like I said, we're going to see these rain chances. However, if you're not getting rain, they're very isolated chances. You're going to be just like, you can see downtown Pittsburgh, overcast skies, a little dreary out there, a little gloomy, but heavier rain staying mostly in our northern counties. Even with our isolated chances, central and southern counties only expecting another 1/10 of an inch, maybe a 1/4 of an inch in some spots, but northern counties seeing that heavy rainfall mid to late afternoon, going to be about 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall accumulation. Now we've got those storm chances again today, isolated storms, heavier rain in the northern counties, and that low risk for severe weather down in Arkansas. And then tomorrow, very isolated chances for showers most of the day. Again, not a severe threat. All of that clears out. So by Friday, clouds are going to continue to clear out of here. Sun returns, temperatures getting up to the upper 60s, low 70s. And then the weekend looking gorgeous. Sunny skies all weekend, temperatures in the 70s, even getting into the 80s by next week. And you can see next week we definitely have more of that summertime pattern. We're going to see these pop-up storms Monday, Thursday, Friday. Those are what we call pulse storms. They happen in the summertime due to surface heating. And you can see we've got warm temperatures, 70s and 80s next week. It is going to be a gorgeous week next week. We just have to make it through a couple more days of gloomy, rainy weather. That's a look at your forecast. Coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches on over to Fox 14, promoting good mental health in kids can be challenging. But thanks to the help of a few toys, help may soon be on the way.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signs Laura and Ashley's law, strengthening sentencing requirements for certain crimes in the Sooner State. Beginning November 1st, crimes of accessory to murder in the first degree and accessory to murder in the second degree will be added to the list of felony offenses requiring criminals to serve at least 85% of their sentence. Lorraine Bible worked with State Representative Steve Bayshore to file the bill. Waquapaw community members participated in a walk for families of missing or murdered Indigenous persons. The gathering aimed to honor victims and give grieving families a chance to share their stories in hopes of finding healing and answers about missing loved ones. Victims of a lost loved one say they appreciate the support of the community. And road work is underway along K7 south of Girard to US 400, causing minor delays for drivers. The project includes a mill and overlay to repair damaged sections and extend the life of the highway. KDOT expects the $5.5 million project to be complete by mid-June, weather permitting. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got isolated thunderstorms continuing through the mid-morning to early afternoon hours. Heavier rainfall north of Pittsburgh by about 1 p.m. until about 6 p.m. And then we have a low risk for severe weather tonight at 10, mostly staying south in Arkansas. We've got isolated showers continuing tomorrow, but it all clears out by tomorrow evening. And then we're in store for a really gorgeous weekend. Sunny skies and temperatures back into the 70s.
Weekend looks absolutely fantastic.
I'm so excited
I
for
can't
it.
wait. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making cola meatballs in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Lucy Brookshire and Ben Bollinger join us in the studio to talk about their upcoming murder mystery event.
Plus, Catherine Pinto also joins us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.